We have in Hardin County now, the Greater Hardin County Drug Task Force, okay? I happen to be in the criminal business, and I can tell you criminals don't recognize boundary lines, okay? They just don't respect where city lines are, county lines, or anything of that nature. Fires don't either, okay? And so these entities are already cooperating with one another. I was particularly interested, having worked as county attorney with the volunteer fire departments fairly closely, as to what their view was on this. And our volunteer fire departments in this community provide a great service, but they are just that. They are volunteers. They are struggling with getting enough people, okay, to be available to do fire suppression in a community of 105,000, okay? So they understand, and that's why they are already coordinating with each other in order to provide that service for us. We met with the Fort Knox people and had a conversation with them, and as I'm sure it doesn't surprise you, they don't take an official position on this. However, they also mentioned that they had talked with the Columbus, Georgia, and the Fort Benning people. And how was that relationship for Fort Benning? And the word I remember is that the military folks at Fort Benning very much liked working with one government unit. It made their life simpler, okay? We met with the state officials here for Hardin County, and we also met with our federal elected officials. And my takeaway from that was that without a unified funding priority from a community, being Hardin County, you get less funding in Frankfort and in Washington. If different parts of our own community are competing with one another, either in Frankfort or Washington, for limited dollars, then typically you just end up getting less. Now, we've done a good job in being unified in those priorities. You know, to get the funding that we were able to receive during a recession from the state government and from the federal authorities for the most recent BRAC, I think is a great tribute of what we can do together, okay? So the question becomes, are we then better together? And then how together do we want to be? That is something that I think is worthy of exploring. If it works well on big projects like BRAC, like 313, Ring Road, Glendale Mega Site, then would it work well for all other projects as well? And then, of course, we reviewed in great detail the study that Luke has just summarized for you. So next, we have to think about, what do we want to do? Do we want to maintain the status quo where we are today? Or do we want to pursue unified government? And in looking at this, you know, I go back to this kind of idea I had about this Mayflower concept. It came to me one night. I don't know why. But why don't we erase the lines and then just look, how do we live with one another today? How do 105,000 of us live currently? And that is the map. 80% of us choose to live within an urban core, okay, that's in yellow there, that is about the same geographic size as the city of Bowling Green. Okay, so it's not some, you know, it's not my first thought was, well, it'll be twice the geographic size of any other city. But I was surprised to find that it is not. It is just maybe 5 or 10% larger than Bowling Green is today. But 80% of us choose to live in that yellow area, okay? So, if that's how we choose to live together, then how would we choose to govern ourselves if we were doing that from the very beginning, if we didn't have the history and traditions that we do? And that's where I think unified government is a form of government that we would consider if we were doing this in the first instance. And so, shouldn't we consider it now? Do we want to let history and tradition keep us from doing what may be in the best interest of us? I think it's worth exploring to see if we agree, if you agree that that would be better for us, okay? Now, the Hardin County United group, we looked at this and concluded that unified government did offer many advantages for Hardin County, and concluded that it justifies further consideration, okay? Again, Hardin County United, we don't get to decide that. Everyone in this room, plus every other registered voter in Hardin County, they are the ones that decide that. Everybody gets the same vote, one vote, okay? Now, the advantages that we saw to a unified government would be speaking with that one voice, both in Frankfort and Washington, the attainment of a new level of what I call clout, which clout is kind of a hard thing to explain, okay? But most of it's just, you kind of know what it means. It's how you get things done, okay? You have to have a certain amount of clout in order to get things done in this world. That clout will assist us in the creation of new jobs. That will only come if we have the clout of something like the third largest community in Kentucky. We're not anywhere near that now because, Elizabethtown is 11th and Radcliffe is 17th, okay? So we kind of get up in that top 5 category by considering unification. The other advantage that we saw is streamlined government, the more efficient delivery of services. Now this gets a little bit complicated, and it's kind of you kind of almost have to be kind of a government wonk like me in order to really appreciate this. But we met with Foster Pettit, which was the first metro mayor of Lexington and Fayette County, and he's done extensive studies over the last 30 years, 40 years on this particular topic and analysis, and has gone to communities all over the United States on this particular topic. And what he found was this: if you're in a growing community, and Hardin County is a growing community. We have 105,000 people here today. In the next census, we will have surely another 10, 15, 20,000 more people, okay? How do we provide the services to those new people, okay, where it's not such a financial burden on all of us? What Mr. Pettit found was this, that unified government, okay, was able to more efficiently provide the services at a lower per person cost basis than providing those services to that increased population with multiple units of government. So we think that is worthy of study here for our community as well. Now, a couple important points. Unified government projects, this only pertains to local government. Okay, it doesn't change any other form of government. Your state representatives, our federal representatives, it doesn't affect that at all. Okay, only local government. And also, it does not affect the school districts. Okay, that is separate than what your local government is. So what is the plan? First, we determined that we needed to start having these types of forums. We had one last night, have this one. We are available to come to speak to any group that you may want to ask us to come to speak to, because we need to inform people. We want an informed decision to be made. We have the time to do that. Again, we're not in a crisis, so let's try to make an educated decision about this. And we want to inform each of the government entities, the county government, the fiscal court, and the 6 cities that we have here today. Next, we will be soliciting endorsements. We'll be going to various groups, chamber groups, industrial groups, civic groups, church groups, whatever kind of White Mills Civic League group, whatever there is that might want to explore this with us, and we'll be glad to go and talk to them. And then the request will be made to the fiscal court and to the city councils of the 6 cities that exist in Hardin County to appoint a Unification Review Commission. Now, that is the official body that's designated by state law if you want to explore and go down the path of allowing the voters to decide if you do or do not want unified government. Then you must appoint a Unification Review Commission, okay? Now, what does that Unification Review Commission do? It is a group by law of no less than 20 and no more than 40 community people, okay? They are tasked with the responsibility of drafting a charter, okay, of a new unified government. Now that charter typically is one of those pretty thick documents. It has the details of what unified government would look like exactly for Hardin County, and exactly how it would operate, okay? By law, that Unification Review Commission has 2 years to do their work, okay? And then the Unification Review Commission submits that plan, okay, that they have come up with through public hearings and all the input that they will receive. That is the plan that is submitted to the voters. And then the question on the ballot, the earliest that it could occur in our circumstances is November of 2012. The question is, are you in favor of the Unification Review Plan, yes or no? Okay? And then the people decide. And again, that's what we call democracy in this country. We let the people decide what their form of government will be. No group, even the Unification Review Commission, say there's 40 people on that, they get their 40 individual votes, and that's it, along with the other 105,000 people in Hardin County, okay? So that's important to keep in mind.